So we are at Dinosaur's Adventureland. This is it.
Yeah.
We just arrived. It's about 4 o'clock. So this is supposed to be an office building. People check in here, and this was a main building, I think. And they have many volunteer carpenters and people. They've been building those cabins there for dormitory purpose. There are some numbers there. So that, for example, that building has a number 6, number 5. So how many cabins are you planning to build?
Well, eventually we want to have a whole bunch of them so
Right.
that we can have them available for guests to come and stay.
Right, right. So
now,
far, they have
got
some volunteers.
Yeah, right now we have 5 this
Yeah.
size, plus a couple of small ones.
Right. So they have volunteer carpenters who are building this,
Yeah.
and I've been watching Dr. Hovind's update every day. So, what's your name? Okay.
Oh, I'm Anna.
Oh, Anna. This is Anna. She works at the office. I guess Dr. Hovind is not available right now.
I don't think so. I tried calling him.
Yeah.
I can try knocking on his door up there to see if he's available.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So Anna's giving us some tour. So this is the map of this property. Obviously, there's a cabin number there. Is the office. This is whole 100 acres of the area. Dr. Hovind is making this adventure land. So there's some lakes and all that.
Right
So, okay. So Dr. Hovind's coming. So let's go and meet him. So
Hello.
here comes our hero, Dr. Kent Hovind here.
Hello. Howdy. Can't hold it. Get my name.
Joshua Yoon,
Joshua and
In Sung Kim. He
Where you
came
from?
all the way from Korea.
Korea.
Yeah.
Good to have you here. All right.
Wow.
So is
So-
Anna giving you the tour here?
Yeah.
About to.
So Dr. Hovind had been the spearhead of creation theory. He's been a wonderful God-serving man and preacher.
Okay.
And then I read a lot of his books and DVDs. Of course, I purchased them.
Yeah. Good to have you here.
We made all the way today, come here to look at all the things and talk to Dr. Hovind.
Well,
So
good.
that's an update.
Alright, so on day 2 of creation, God created the atmosphere, and He put just the right ingredients that we would need in the atmosphere. He put oxygen, of course, for us to breathe, carbon dioxide, a little bit of that for the plants, which they need for photosynthesis. He also put a lot of nitrogen in the atmosphere. Now,
Right.
nitrogen actually makes up about 75% of the atmosphere,
Yes.
about 3/4 of it. And nitrogen is important for a couple reasons. First reason is it kind of acts as a filler to protect us against too much oxygen. If most of the atmosphere made up of oxygen, we'd have a very big problem because oxygen is required for combustion.
Right.
You light a match, and if there's too much oxygen, everything
Yeah,
explodes.
dangerous.
So I don't want that to happen. So nitrogen actually acts as a filler to protect us against that.
Absolutely.
It also, nitrogen is very important for life, although
Right.
it's needed in a different form than it is in the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, it's got 2 atoms of nitrogen together, N2, and we can't really use it in that form. But the form we need nitrogen in can only be made by certain bacteria that live in the nodules of the roots of plants. And now those plants need that special form of nitrogen that the bacteria make. And the bacteria need the roots of the plants in order to convert the nitrogen into the
Yeah.
form that life needs.
Yeah,
Well,
lots
which
of
one came
beans.
first, the bacteria or the plant? You need both of them at once. And God put that nitrogen cycle into existence, just what we would need for life to survive.
Right.
Now over here
Wonderful
we have
design.
our Bernoulli blower. A guy named Bernoulli, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, figured out a principle that God put into place on governing the flow of air.
Right.
When he found out that
Flow
when air
dynamics,
moves,
right?
when air moves, it has low pressure, and still air has high pressure. And when you put pressure on something, you're pushing on it. So still air is going to push on objects, push them into moving low pressure air. Now when I turn this on, it's going to blow air out of this tube here, and it's going to be moving air, so it's going to have low pressure. And we'll see what happens.
You see that? But it's not going anywhere. Good job.
So the still air was actually pushing on the ball, keeping it in that stream of moving low pressure air. The ball just wanted to be in the easiest place it could be, which was that low pressure air.
So it doesn't go anywhere, it stays there.
Right. It doesn't really get anywhere, and that's because it's trying to stay in the easiest place it could be.
Right.
And in our lives, when we try to stay in the easiest place we can be, like sitting on the couch in front of the TV all day, well, we're not going to get anywhere either. We need to put forth effort in order to get things done, and we need to put forth the effort to do things and do things for God with our lives.
Good.
Now over here we have our Venturi vacuum, and this works very similarly to the Bernoulli blower. We once again have moving low pressure air blowing up through this tube right here, and when I turn this on, it'll have the air blowing up through there, and it'll actually, the high pressure air that's outside the room will actually push the ball up through the tube.
Okay. Is the ball coming down?
So it's actually called the Venturi effect. They use it in some car engines in order to get fuel to the engine. They have a tube with air flowing through it, and the air pressure outside actually pushes the fuel up into the moving low pressure air and to the engine.
Right.
And that's how the engine gets just the right amount of fuel.
That's 760 million mercury pressure we are talking about. Yeah.
And this over here is our torus cannon. Normally we have our fog machine to put fog inside so you can actually see the air as it comes out. We've got a hole in the front and canvas with bungee cords in the back. So normally we'd actually be able to see the air coming out, but our fog machine isn't working right now for some reason, so we'll have to do it without it. It still works fine. You just can't see the air. So what happens when you pull back on here, it sends out air out the front. Now, it's not just a puff ball of smoke, as you may think. It's actually, what comes out is a ring, a spiraling ring called a vortex. And that ring will travel all the way across the room, and it spirals around itself in that ring shape. And actually, if somebody wants to stand way down there, you'll actually be able to feel the vortex when it hits you.
Yeah, really?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go and stand there. So the sound wave will come, and let's see if I can feel it. Oh yeah, I feel it. Oh wow. Yeah, I felt it here. Oh, I felt it here. She's hitting me with the vortex of the wave. Insan, come here. Okay. You can feel it.
And the vortex is actually formed behind the wings of planes, which is why if you have a plane flying behind another plane, it has to be very careful to avoid those vortexes. Otherwise, the plane will actually end up crashing usually.
Right. How interesting is that?
So on day 3 of creation, God separated the dry land from the seas, and He created the plants.
Right.
And He created all different sorts of fruits and vegetables and beautiful flowers.
Look at
Now,
that.
all these fruits and vegetables have very important nutrients that our bodies need to survive. Just
That's
like
right.
a car needs gas and oil and all different sorts of things in order to run,
Right.
your body needs different things in order for it to run right. And if you don't give your body what it needs, it's not going to grow very well, and you're going to end up with a lot of problems, like a lot of diseases are caused because you're not giving your body what it needs. And a lot of times people will try, instead of trying to treat the cause of the problems, they'll end up just treating their symptoms. Like, I have a headache, oh, let's take an aspirin.
That's
or
right.
I've got sports, so I'll just freeze them off. Well, a lot of those symptoms are actually showing that there's a deeper cause that you need to solve.
That's
a lot
right.
of times our bodies
Addressing
aren't getting
that.
right vitamins and nutrients.
Right.
And so that's like if your car engine's making a funny noise, it's like putting in earplugs. Well, it's not going to solve the problem. You may cover up the symptom, the engine noises, but you're not going to solve the problem.
Right.
Now this over here is from a bristlecone pine tree, and it's got a whole bunch of rings on it. A tree produces about one set of rings a year, but it can vary. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But this tree, they count out the rings.
Yeah.
They found out it's about 700 years old. That means it started growing back during the Middle Ages. And it was still growing in 1492 when Columbus sailed for America, and it was still growing in 1776 when America declared independence.
Right.
This tree's been through a lot.
Man,
Now this
all
tree,
the tree.
yeah, this tree up here is, I believe, a loblolly pine. It's from here on our property actually, and the loblolly pines grow very quickly, so it has very large rings, and you can actually see the rings a lot better on it because of that. So you can see there's actually two different types of rings. You have the hard rings and the soft rings. Now the hard rings form during the bad times of the year, like during the winter when it's cold out, or if there's a drought during the year, it'll form a hard ring because the tree isn't growing as well. Now the soft rings form during the good times of the year. During the summer, it's nice and warm out, and the tree's getting plenty of water, it's going to form a soft ring. Now the soft rings keep the tree flexible, and the hard rings keep the tree strong and upright. If the tree had just hard rings, it'd be too brittle and would snap off with a good wind. But if it had just soft rings, the tree would be too flexible and kind of flop over. So the tree needs to go through both the good times of the year and the bad times of the year in order to get those rings and to be a strong tree. And in our lives, we need to go through the good times and the bad times as well in order to be stronger.
That's right.
And sometimes God will allow hard things to happen to us in order to make us think of as a sea creature, but it does live in water, is a bacteria. The bacteria is a microscopic one-celled organism that has a tail behind it called flagella. And it spins that tail really fast in order to swim through its little world. And moving that flagella is a motor in the back end of the bacteria. Looks somewhat like this. And the motor actually has very many similar parts to a man-made motor. It works very similarly. And the bacteria motor, it is very well designed. It is way better designed than any motor man can make. First of all, it's so tiny that 8 million of them will fit on the tip of one of your hairs. That's how tiny it is. And no man can't make a motor anywhere near as small as that. The smaller it gets, the more complicated it becomes. Just like a microchip is much more complicated than the old tube systems and all that.
That's right,
And so smaller is actually much more complicated. Evolution tries to teach, oh, smaller is simpler. As long as it was small enough, it could have evolved by chance. Well, that's not true.
Cannot explain that.
Yes, for example, this motor, it's much more powerful and more efficient than any motor man can make. It spins at about 100,000 RPM, way more than any car engine. And it also is very powerful. When a bacteria swims through water, it's actually the equivalent of a human swimming through peanut butter at 60 miles per hour. So that motor is very powerful, and it's amazingly designed. Now, if you ask an evolutionist how this man-made motor came to be, and you say, well, you see, I've got this theory, and you tell the evolutionist, I believe, after much research, I've found out that this motor was formed by an eruption of a volcano, spewed out molten metal, and that metal hardened, and an earthquake shook it into place, lightning struck it, and it started spinning. That's how that motor came to be. They wouldn't believe you for a second. Well, yet they still teach that this motor, which is way better designed than the man-made motor, evolved by chance. Yet if you take away just one part of this, it doesn't work anymore. It all had to be there all at once. God
all
created
parts have
this
to be
motor.
there.
We need to give God the glory for what He created.
They say the bacteria can rotate this flagellum 100,000 per minute, and a fraction of a second it stops, and then change the direction to the other side, and then rotate it again.
Yes.
So, I mean, no man-made stuff can do that. No man-made stuff. Impossible.
So on day 6, God created the land animals and man, and of course all different sorts of land animals, like the grizzly bear here. There's all different sorts of bears. You have the grizzly bear, panda bear, the polar bear. There's even one called the spectacled bear. It looks like he's wearing glasses. And so all these different types of bears that can survive in all different climates. Like the polar bear has a nice thick fur to survive in the Arctic regions. And so God put into the bear gene code the ability to adapt to different places, to have thicker fur or thinner fur, and all these different variations that God put into their gene code so they would be able to survive in different places. And just like same with the dogs, you have all these different breeds of dogs. They have in their gene code the ability to have short short legs or long legs or run fast or have thick fur, short fur. All this is in their gene code. And animal breeders will select certain traits in that gene code, and so that they'll get the specific breeds that they're trying to get.
Right.
And so now when they select those traits, they end up in the gene code. What happens, the animal actually loses information in its gene code. It either gets lost or scrambled up, mutated, and the animal actually loses information in its gene code to select for just a certain trait. And when they do that, they end up losing other information that's also important for the animal's health a lot of times. So certain breeds of dogs will end up with heart problems or eyesight problems or skin problems that are specific to that breed because of the animal has been bred. So all we see today is animals being bred, they lose information in their gene code. That's what we see today. Now, evolutionists will say, see, this is the perfect example of evolution. This is microevolution. If you have enough of these changes, that makes evolution. Change from one kind of an animal to another, from a dog to a bear, for example. So you have to have these huge changes. Now, according to evolution, we started out as a single-cell organism like a bacteria or an amoeba, and slowly added more and more cells, it became an animal, and finally we got the dog. Well, to do that, you'd have to add a ton of information to the gene code.
That's right.
The animal would have to know how to make legs and eyes and skin and lungs, and all
Absolutely.
that information would have to be added to the gene code. Yet all we see today is animals losing information. And so the microevolution that they try to call it, which is actually just variation, is actually the opposite of evolution. And yet that's all we see today.
Right. Evolution never actually happened.
Right.
Evolution lose information. Yeah, and then the mutations doesn't get passed down to the next generation. So mutation can never become a source of the something that can be created. So it's been already proven. 100 years ago, it's been proven. So.
Yeah. So anyway, since God created land animals on day 6, dinosaurs would have also been created on day 6.
Right.
And so of course you have all the different sorts of dinosaurs, and the word dinosaur actually wasn't made up till the 1800s. Before that, people used a different word for them. They called them dragons.
That's right.
And so and now
the
of course,
Bible
we
days,
have,
they said dragon.
yes. So now we have all these legends of like the knights killing dragons, the emperor in China using dragons to pull his chariots in his parades, and all these stories passed down of dinosaurs or dragons living right alongside man. And of course some of those legends get of course distorted, and well, he was this big, all that, so they do get distorted throughout time, but yet you have all these cultures from all over the world describing these same animals, the dinosaurs.
That's right,
And we've found artwork that people have done long ago. Like they found these little model dinosaurs down in Mexico, look just like dinosaurs. They found these stones down in Acre, Peru, with pictures of what looks definitely like dinosaurs.
That's right, yeah.
And these stones were made long before we ever dug up any dinosaur fossils. So how did these people know how to make these pictures of dinosaurs? They had to have actually seen these dinosaurs themselves in order to draw them. And you have other drawings too, like rock drawings and all that. And there may actually be some dinosaurs still alive today over in the Congo swamp in Africa, in the middle of the continent of Africa, and deep in the jungle, in the swamp. Some missionaries went over there and they were talking to these natives. And the natives described this animal called Mokele Mbembe. Now the missionaries were wondering, well, what animal is this Mokele Mbembe? So they're showing the natives different pictures of different animals. So giraffe, nope, not a giraffe. Is it an elephant? Nope, not an elephant. They showed him a picture of a sauropod dinosaur, long-necked, long-tailed dinosaur, and the native said, yes, that's Mokele Mbembe. And the missionaries were like, well, wait a minute, that can't be. See, dinosaurs died out millions of years ago. This can't be Mokele Mbembe.
Maybe not.
The natives said, well, no, we saw this guy out in the swamp the other day, but they're still alive.
Right.
And they even have stories that they actually trapped one of these dinosaurs in the river in Mokele Mbembe. Trapped him with these stakes, and the dinosaur got spiked, and they killed him, ate him, fed their whole village with it. So it's pretty amazing.
I'd like to have some too.
Well done, medium well. You guys ready for an outside tour, or how far are you?
We're almost
sixth day,
done. I was just finishing up the 6th day, and I was going to show them the fossils in the back room. But
Let me do the outside tour. Sound satellite. when you talk, your voice comes out and spreads out. Okay, you can hear me when I'm talking this way, but you can also hear me when I'm talking this way. If we could gather all that sound energy and focus it like a flashlight will focus light into a beam. You can do the same with sound. If you stand in front of that dish in just the right spot, called the focal point,
Right.
you talk to the dish here, we will hear you at the other dish way down there.
Oh wow,
483
that
feet
far.
away.
Oh my goodness.
So you come talk to this dish,
Okay.
and you and I will go down to that one.
All right.
Come stand up here, I'll show you.
Okay. Inson's gonna talk to this dish.
Focal point, stand
And
one
then
step maybe. Right
This
about
will
here.
send,
Perfect. Okay. No
focus
wires,
the energy all the way over there.
nothing. Okay? Let's go down there to the
All
other.
right. So we just experimented with the sound wave focusing thing. It was amazing. We could communicate. We're gonna make the airplane that flies to 400 feet. Can you believe that? Dr. Hovind's own invention.
If I take a piece of paper and I blow under it, I can blow it up.
Yeah.
If I blow over it,
It comes up too.
it comes up. Moving air has low pressure, like the ball. You saw the ball
Right,
fly in there?
right.
Same principle. Airplane wings are curved on the top, straight on the bottom.
Yeah.
Air going over that curve has to go farther, so it has to go faster. So it lifts the airplane off the ground. Okay? That's why they don't race Volkswagens. At about 120 miles per hour, they will lift off the ground. So we're going to make a Bernoulli airplane. We fold a piece of paper over, and then you fold it over. And then you fold it over, and fold it over, and fold it over, and fold it over, and then you fold it over. And you have an airplane. Air going over this bump will lift it. But we're going to confuse it a little bit by putting the bump in the middle of a circle. So we get a piece of monodirectional adhesive polymer bonding strip. This looks a lot like tape, but to the government we sell it for $5,000 an inch. You'll understand, right? Okay, so we put the bonding strip down on the seam like this. Tuck the extra in the middle, and we have an airplane. Let's see if it flies.
Well, let's see.
You want the heavy side, the fat side to go first, and don't go up, go straight out.
Oh wow. Can you believe that?
You can have it, you can find it.
Cool. Wow. Amazing. Yeah.
Salvation, how to go to heaven. You can make these for your church, for a tract to give out. You go someplace where there are kids and make some of these and let them all keep one, and it explains how to go to heaven. Then you line 2 and line 3. You don't let them touch in the middle. And line 4 and line 5. Okay, now we take them apart. I made 5 at a time here. We're going to install a metallic fastening device. This looks a lot like a staple, okay, but these are $4,000 a piece to the government. You understand? You do? Okay. $4,000 metallic fastening device. The neater you fold your plane, the farther it will fly. And by the way, the neater you do your homework, the neater you make your bed, the neater you brush your teeth, the farther you go in life, because nobody wants to hire a slob to work for them. Do you want to hire a slob to work for you?
That's
No.
right.
So now we fold the wings down. Again, neatly fold the wings. Each one has our website, Dr. Dino, and the Plan of Salvation. Okay.
That's good for kids because the kids can keep it, and it has all their plan of salvation written there, so they can keep it.
Now we get out the, where did it go? Turbulence minimizer. This looks a lot like a scissors, but these are $4,000 each to the government. You cut off the back section because this, at the end of the plane, creates turbulence and slows it down. There might be some things in your life that are slowing you down. Maybe too much TV, too many video games. If they're slowing you down, get rid of it. Turbulence.
Did you hear?
Turbulence. You didn't
I
hear
don't
that?
play.
Okay. Turbulence minimizer. Yeah, some things in life are just, they're not evil, just stupid. They waste time. Now we get out the cellulose separator. This is why Switzerland has never been invaded. Make a hole in the bottom, like this. Okay, I'll show you what for. My own invention. Now we're going to get a penny. Abraham never got to fly in a real plane because they were invented after he died. And he does not want to fly on this one either. So we're going to have to help him stay on there with a piece of the bonding strip. $5,000 an inch to the government. Next we get a metallic propulsion enhancer. Now these look a lot like paper clips, okay, but these are $10,000 each to the government. So you extend and invert the primary, extend the tertiary, flip it over, hook it on the fastening device. Look down to be sure it's down the middle, collinear, coplanar, copaesthetic, and Copenhagen. Then you put the bonding strip on, and you are ready to fly. We'll give you the orange one.
Alright.
Okay.
And you don't want a pink one. They teach a great lesson, a couple of great lessons. Ordinary paper, if it is properly prepared and properly motivated, it can do things you would never dream a piece of paper can do. An ordinary student, if they get properly prepared and properly motivated, that might take a belt or a 2x4, cattle prod, you know, they can do amazing things with proper preparation and motivation. That's all you need in life. There we go.
Alright. Ready to shoot. This is like a Z airplane.
Yeah.
You
Paper version of a Z airplane.
not believe
Intercontinental
intercontinental rocket.
Z airplane.
It's a lot of money too. Like 10,000 plus 5,000 plus about $45,000.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah.
To U.S. government.
The U.S. government, yes, they don't care. They don't mind. They like spending the money. Okay.
Okay.
And let's see, we'll put a nickel in this one. They cost more.
Maybe I'll get you some pennies. I got a whole bunch of coins.
I got some more in here. Yeah, I need some more pennies. I ran out. Okay, the pink one with the nickel should cost a lot more, but we'll see. Okay, now clean up my mess, and we will go over to the launcher and show you how they fly.
Alright. Okay, now
Right.
this is airplane launch pad.
Well, these look like rubber bands from Office Depot, aisle 7. No, these are elastic accelerators. They are $2 million a piece. So you hold the tail of your plane up high, in the middle. You go 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
To the trees. Maybe 300 feet.
Yeah.
If you go 37-degree angle, you get the maximum distance. 3, 2, 1. If that had the nickel, maybe too heavy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you try.
인상 you try.
Okay.
Angle.
Come on, pull it.
Yeah.
Fire.
Fire?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The barrel is
Very
200 feet.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold it. Let me try.
If you pull and hold it, it gets weak. Pull
Uh-huh.
and let go fast.
Ah, okay, I see.
Right in the middle. Pull way at the back. Hold way back here up high. Okay.
Oh.
To the pole,
Oh,
almost.
wow.
Probably 350
Pretty good.
feet.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay,
pretty
let's
good.
go get it. On the four-wheeler.
Cool. So we just had a whole around the camp on ATV. Wow, that was quite a fun. Wonderful trails there. And now we are at the center where the lake is, and there is a water slide, and then over there was a zip line too. So maybe we'll try to fish some, try to feed fishes here. So Dr. Hovind got something to feed fishes. So let's go and see what kind of fishes he has here. So, little ones. So can you see? Can you see little fishes?
All the way along the dock, just throw some out. They will come.
Yeah, this is kind of open water. You cannot have koi fish or anything like that. That'll be.
Koi, you just have bass and bluegill.
Although the colorful fishes will be a great feeding for free meals for eagles and.
I should get some koi, put them in here.
Yeah, but they'll be gone in 1 week.
Why?
Because of.
Are you dizzy or are you confused? No. No, not dizzy, not confused. Okay. Put your feet straight out. Are you dizzy and confused now?
Yeah, just a little bit.
It takes about 10 seconds in life to get really, really confused.
Oh.
Okay, now when you stop, you go hold the tree.
Okay.
That tree is not moving.
Okay.
You believe me?
Okay. Okay.
Can you come and look at it?
Okay.
Yeah, read what it says.
Ah,
Something
confused.
solid.
Yeah.
You want to try?
No, I think I'm
come on,
already
come on.
dizzy.
Come on, come on.
I'm already dizzy.
Anna can finish the tour
Wow,
inside.
good.
I got a couple messages I got to take.
Right.
Okay. But you seashells, you find millions all over the beach. However, all over the world, they find petrified clams closed.
Right.
Petrified in the closed position. Here are hundreds of them.
Yeah, closed. They're all closed. So they all means they suddenly died.
They probably got buried before they died.
Right.
Had to be buried in mud rapidly,
Yep.
like Noah's flood.
Right. Absolutely.
Sometimes these are found in layers 10 feet thick.
Oh, wow.
Thousands of petrified clams
Right.
closed,
Yeah.
indicating rapid burial. When they were buried in mud, they died, they couldn't even open.
Right.
Find them all over the world like this. Big ones, little ones.
Yeah. Oh, that one's really big.
So the evidence for Noah's flood, I think, is every place, right under our feet.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
A mammoth is got the long tusks like this. This is a copy.
Uh-huh.
This is a baby mammoth tooth.
Wow. Look at that. How big that is.
Here is juvenile, medium-sized mammoth.
Oh.
That's the roots.
Yeah.
One
And
tooth.
here is a big one.
Ah.
Grown up one tooth.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the size of the tooth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Bible said there were giants in those days.
Yeah.
Here is a jaw from a baby mammoth. That's his bottom teeth and his jaw.
Oh. Wow.
He is dead.
Right? That's a huge one. My goodness.
The mammoth and the mastodon are very similar. Both have lots of hair. There may be some still alive. There's arguments about that. I don't know. But today we have the Indian elephant and the African elephant. African elephant has big ears. Indian has small ears.
Right.
But there were 4 different kinds of elephant-like creatures in the world, and they probably came from a common ancestor, an elephant.
Elephant, right?
That
Yeah.
does not prove elephants are related to bananas.
Nah.
That's what evolution
Just-
teaches.
Epigenetics.
So they'll tell you in school it takes millions of years for things to petrify.
Right.
There's a petrified teddy bear.
Look at that.
Petrified pickle,
Petrified pickle.
found in the jar, turned
Yeah.
to stone.
That's right.
Petrified rose.
Oh.
Doesn't take a million years to
Does
make
not
it.
take
Yeah.
millions of years. The fossilized hammer, this is a copy. Carl Baugh has the real one.
Mm.
They analyzed the metal and said, we cannot make this metal today unless we do it under double atmospheric pressure, which probably Noah's flood had.
Probably.
Before
yeah.
Noah's flood.
Yeah, before. Yeah, absolutely.
All over the world they find fossils of trilobites. Tri
Yeah.
means three lobes to the body.
Mm-hmm.
Trilobes. They have the most complicated eye ever. 2,000 lenses in their eyeball. And they tell you in school this is the first animal, one of the first animals to evolve. It's crazy. It's got the most complicated eye. These are real trilobite fossils.
Yeah.
Put them back here when you're done.
Oh, wow. Look at that. The real one. Tiny one? Big one.
Yeah.
Now back in 1942, during the war, some American airplanes were flying to Greenland, flying to Europe to join the war, and they ran out of gas. And they landed on the ice. Did you see me talking in my seminar about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I watched that one.
That is a model of an airplane.
Yeah, buried in the ice.
That's how far down it
Snow,
was in the
yeah,
ice.
snow, yeah.
263 feet.
Right,
Yeah.
And it had hundreds of layers on top of it.
right.
They'll tell you in school each layer is a year.
Yeah.
No, there are hundreds of layers on top of an airplane that's been there for 48 years.
Yes, we only 40 years.
Those are not annual layers.
1942.
Yeah. Those are not, it's not, each layer is not summer, winter, summer, winter. It's warm, cold, warm, cold,
Right,
warm, cold.
yeah.
You get 5 of those in 1 week.
Yeah. Yeah. Snow, no snow, snow, no snow.
Yeah, that's all, no problem. But they want to teach the kids it's millions of years old.
That's right. Yeah.